everyone, this is Maki. The GQuuuuuX TV anime has finally started. With the beginning of a brand new story, things are getting exciting. Among those who enjoy GQuuuuuX, there are probably some people who are watching the Gundam series for the first time. Today, I'm going to explain one of the elements of the first episode of the TV anime, especially for beginners. Why was Amate able to control the GQuuuuuX? This is a key element that will be very important to the story. For those of you who have been fans of the Gundam series for a long time, this will also be a great opportunity to look back. Just so you know, this program will contain spoilers for the first episode of GQuuuuuX. If possible, please watch the first episode before watching this program. On my channel, I share information to help you enjoy the Gundam series even more. Be sure to subscribe and watch the next video. I've also started a membership program that gives you access to mechas and custom stamps for comments. If you want to support my work, I'd really appreciate it if you joined. So let's get started with the analysis. Well, for those who are watching Gundam for the first time, the word Psycommu was probably an unfamiliar term. It sounds like it refers to some kind of special machine, doesn't it? This time, let's take a look at what the Psycommu actually is. Its official name is Psychocommunicator. It's a technology designed to amplify human brainwaves in order to control various phenomena. The design to control part is really important. In the world of the story, there's still a lot that's unexplained about the Psycommu technology. It's used without fully understanding what kind of phenomena it might cause. This Psycommu system is a technology that requires a special particle called the Minovsky particle. Minovsky particles are also unique to the Gundam universe. Minovsky particles block radio waves and cause communication interference. In warfare, they have the effect of neutralizing radar-based detection systems. This has drastically changed the way wars are fought. In conventional warfare, radar was used to analyze long-range targets, and weapons such as missiles and cannons were used to attack the enemy. But on battlefields, where Minovsky particles are scattered, it's necessary to get close to the enemy in order to attack. The mobile suits of the Xi'an military were developed as weapons that could fight effectively under these conditions. We also saw soldiers from the Xi'an military in the story of GQuuuuuX. Minovsky particles interfere with radio waves and communications. However, by using Psycommu, it becomes possible to receive or amplify the vibrations of the Minovsky particles. The system uses human brain waves to vibrate the Minovsky particles and transmit information. But not just anyone's brainwaves can be compatible with the Psycommu system. It's the brainwaves of a special type of person, known as a Newtype, that are compatible with Psycommu. Newtypes are sometimes referred to as evolved humans, but even this term lacks a clear definition or scientific explanation. There is a scene in the story where a lightning-like effect appears on the character's forehead. This effect is a visual cue that the person is a new type. Amate is also a new type. New type abilities vary from person to person, and this variation itself is vaguely defined. To begin with, the very existence of new types isn't fully understood. The Omega Psycommu device installed in the GQuuuuuX is a type of Psycommu system. Ixabi or Ribi, a Xi'an soldier, was unable to activate the Psycommu. On the other hand, Amate's Psycommu activated automatically. Judging from this phenomenon alone, it might seem that Amate's Newtype abilities are superior to Ixabi's. But is this really the case? The question of what exactly is a Newtype is likely to become another major theme in the story of GQuuuuuuX. Now then, let's get back to the question I posed at the beginning of this program. Why was Amate able to fly the GQuuuuuuX? Some of you may already have your answer after all we've talked about. That's right! It's because Amate was able to activate the Psycommu. Ixabi was controlling the GQuuuuuuX with a joystick. But when Amate activated the Psycommu, her brainwaves were transmitted to the GQuuuuuuX and acted as signals to move the machine. There was a scene where Amate was startled by the Zaku's attack and instinctively moved to protect her body. Her hands came off the controls. For a normal pilot, this would have meant leaving herself wide open to an enemy attack. However, the GQuuuuuuX raised her shield and blocked the incoming attack. This was a direct result of Amate's will to protect her body being transmitted to the GQuuuuuuX. And while Amate was physically shielding herself with her arms, the GQuuuuuuX interpreted this intention and used its shield for defense. In other words, it wasn't just receiving brainwaves, it was translating them into actions that took full advantage of the machine's capabilities. It was doing something far more advanced than what other pilots could do with joysticks. Why was the GQuuuuuuX capable of such behavior? That's probably another key element of the story. There are other moments where the Psycommu is shown working effectively. Let's take a look at the scene where Amate says where's the weapon. Again, Amate doesn't touch the joystick. She doesn't press any buttons. And yet the GQuuuuuuX identifies a weapon, the Heat Hawk, and presents it to Amate. And here's the kicker, this is not a weapon officially used by the military. It's a weapon that comes with the gauntlet, the Tominosuke Heat Hawk. All we know so far is that it's classified as a civilian product. It's unclear at this point if it was made for illegal matches like the ones known as clan battles, or if it's a widely used tool for general tasks. What we do know is that it's not standard military issue. In other words, the GQuuuuuuX recognized and analyzed an object that wasn't official equipment, but could function as a weapon, and then presented it to Amate. It acted as if a human were inside it, controlling it. Why was Amate able to pilot the GQuuuuuuX? It was because the Omega Psycommu, a type of Psycommu, was activated. And the Psycommu is a device that can only be used by a special group of people, known as Newtypes. This was a major element in the first episode, and it's sure to become even more important as the story unfolds. The details weren't fleshed out in the episode itself, but with what we've covered here, even newcomers should be able to enjoy the story more. The remote-controlled weapon used by the Red Gundam in the first episode also used Psycommu. Since Minovsky particles disable communication devices, remote-controlled weapons normally can't work. However, weapons that use Psycommu, which works through Minovsky particle vibrations, can still be used. The weapon used by the Red Gundam is called Bit. Because of such abilities, Newtypes have become extremely effective soldiers in warfare. So where does the story go from here? It seems that in the second episode, we'll learn more about what kind of war the Zeon forces have experienced. There was a cute little animation at the end, wasn't there? But take a closer look at the globe in the background. The shape of the Australian continent, looks strangely carved out, doesn't it? This is a clue to one of the greatest events in human history. Let's look forward to what's to come. Thank you for watching to the end. See you next time.